Everyone, Patrick here, and today we are taking, this is going to be a longer video, I assume, because we were taking a look at another combiner team, a full combiner team. Yeah, this is a knockoff set. I want to preface this right now. All but one of these figures is official, because the one that isn't, oh wait, no. All except for one figure are knockoffs. The one that isn't a knockoff is very rarely included in this set because she's not essential. Unless you want to do a fan mode, which I will show off later. Anyway, today we are looking at a knockoff of the Power of the Primes Dinobots, aka Volcanicus. I need to raise my camera, so here we have, of course, the king of the Dinobots, Grimlock. And Grimlock, he is the problem child of this set for a lot of people. Anyway, we also have Sludge. We have Snarl. We have Slug. I refuse to call him by his G1 name because his G1 name is a highly offensive term in the UK. I'm not in the UK, but I still want to be respectful. Anyway, we have Swoop. Move the camera over. And we have Slash. Yeah, Slash is the only one of these figures that is official. She is my only original one. I used to own Swoop, Grimlock, and Slug, but they have since been lost in a move. It's a miracle I've managed to keep Slash. But anyway, we're going to take a quick glance at these guys one by one, do some transforming, some comparisons, and we are going to get down to combine mode. So, let's start off with... We're starting off with Slash because she is the smallest and easiest to get through. She turned... One sec, I gotta move their accessories so I can have my hands. She turns into a Velociraptor, which is nice. As you can see, she is missing one of her arms. That's just what happens when you're a kid, I guess, and they're on little mushroom pegs like this. Or clips or whatever. Yeah, got some nice detail. I love the transparent heads with gold underneath. Like, you can see where they painted all the gold and stuff. It is really cool. And yeah, same right here. The clear plastic on her hips has held up quite well over the years, so... yeah, you can see a little bit of the top of her head, but you know. She got some nice detail. If you open this panel up, you can fit a Titan Master or Prime Master in there. I forgot to grab one out for this review. I'll take one of the Enigmas this set comes with, because for some reason the set included two, so I just stuck them in the combined feed. But anyway, just for, you know, showing off sake, you can just plug that into her, just for the sake of showing it. But yeah, articulation, the head can move up that far, only down that far. The jaw can open. If you move the head up more, you can get more of a opening. Yeah, don't know why you would. The hips are on a ball joint. You're not really gonna get too much posing out of her because of her balance, but still. Her knees are on a hinge joint. If you untap them, you can get her feet to go forward. It's like, you know, you're not, oh yeah, and also her arms can rotate. You're not gonna get a lot of posing out of her because she is very specifically designed to only really balance in, you know, this sort of stance. I mean, you can, you know, angle her up a little bit more, and she'll stay. Angle her down a little bit more, and she'll stay, but that's really it. Like, she's not super dynamic and posable in dinosaur mode. Granted, none of them are, but you know. For comparison, here she is with a Combiner Wars Limbot. Here she is with 86 Scavenger. As you can see, she's actually longer than, but he has the height because, well, bucket. Here she is with the 86 Prime mold. Here she is with the Deluxe G1 Universe Optimus. And yeah. So let's get down to transformation. You're going to want to open her back up, bring her head up a little bit, and then bring this entire section up. Close that up. You can kind of just get this arm out of the way. You can take this tail, fold it back, bring her arms down like this. Go ahead and come back here and flip the raptor feet up. Untab her legs and bring them down. You want to get in here and fold out her feet. Split her legs. You want to rotate at the thigh so her legs are facing the right way. And here you have a little Slash in her robot mode. And she looks good. She looks like she fits with the team. You know, I personally really like her. She was my favorite of the set when what I had back in the day. Which is part of why she's still here. But yeah, let's get in close on that head sculpt. She looks like she could run. I have paper towel in her joints, so because you know they got loose over the years. That's what happens with the ball joints. But yeah, yeah, she's got a nice head. Looks nice, sleek, but also fitting with the Dinobot aesthetic. She does have square nipples. Yeah. All in all, she's really nicely detailed. Her backpack is just the tail and the head, and these arms are a little annoying because they can, just kind of get in the way of shit, but like still. Also, one thing I didn't point out in Raptor mode, if you see the way her hands are, they're like this, which is the way Jurassic Park popularized Raptor arms. But in reality, they were more like this, and they couldn't rotate. They were like this. They couldn't pronate their wrist. Sorry, that's a little paleontology is nerd shit thing. That's also something that they do with Grimlock a lot, and I do and don't care. Anyway. Let's get on to articulation. The head can rotate. That's about all I can do. The shoulders are the same as the Dino mode legs. You can do a full 360, then go out that far. You do have bicep rotation. You have 90 degrees of bend at the elbow. Nothing at the waist. It was standard, but not really for these guys back then. Her hips can go forward that far, back about that far before it starts bumping into stuff. You can just move it out of the way. Outwards, you can do the full splits. You do have thigh rotation, and 90 degree, actually just shy of 90 degrees of bend at the knee. And no ankle tilt, but you can untab the feet and have them playing down. Yeah. She never came with a weapon or anything, but she, does have 5mm ports. So if you want, you can just give her one of the other Dinobots' guns, and it will look massive in her hand. But anyway, so that has been Slash. Next, we are moving on to Swoop, because there is something I want to talk about with him. So the head is entirely, the Pteranodon head is entirely clear plastic. And as you can see, this is what this side's supposed to look like. This side is disintegrating. I've had this up for less than a month at the point of filming. As of release, it'll probably be like 2 months or so, but still. Yeah, this was not a problem on my original, I don't think. But yeah, it is just it is just disintegrating. I mean, I wonder if I can just straight up knock that loose piece out. You know, I'm not going to, because that could cause this side to start breaking, and then I need to get a new swoop. I need to get a new swoop anyway, but still. So here is the Pteranodon in its perched form. You know, it's perched. It's perched. The head does look really nice, though. Yeah. Again, that lovely transparent plastic with the gold paint underneath it. A little bit of a detriment, especially to this specific figure, but I mean, it's still cool. You can open the jaw, getting some more nice detail in there. And yeah, as far as articulation goes, the head can move up for flight. The feet can flip back for flight. You can, you know, flap the wings and extend them. So yeah. And like I said, you can, you know, flap them up, you can flap them down. Whatever you want to do. Now, of course, being a deluxe, Swoop does come with his prime armor. Let me just make sure I have the right one for him. Okay. Yeah, he does come with his prime armor, which is just the combined mode hand. To store it, you just use these 2 tabs right here, these 2 slots right here. Plug it on. It looks ridiculous, but hey, it's storage. He also did come with a sword. I somehow lost it. I don't know how, but I somehow lost it. But yeah. So I don't have the sword to show you, but you know. Anyway, transformation. You're going to want to bring the pterosaur head down. Bring the feet back up. You're going to want to then hinge them down at this hinge right here. And flip them all the way around. Untab the legs and bring them down. Bring the feet down. Split the legs. Split them. Raise your camera because he is getting a little tall. I always bend the wings back and bring them in. You're going to want to untab the arms. Flip the hand down. Rotate at the bicep. Do the same thing on this side, and then bring the Pteranodon head down. It'll just tab in right there onto his crotch. And there you go. There you have Swoop in robot mode. Now, one thing you'll notice from the official, or that is different from the official, is the paint on the head. For some reason, this knockoff company went with a metallic gray, almost, or a dark metallic silver, instead of the black that the official figures went for. On Swoop, it doesn't really look too out of place, but when you get to Slug, it does kind of look a little weird. Yeah. Anyway, let's get in close on the head sculpt. It looks nice. The eyes are kind of sunken in there, but you know, focus camera. His eyes are like a reflective-ish blue, but it's just hard to see because they are so sunken in there. But yeah. Articulation, head, ball joint, shoulders, ball joint, bicep, 90 degrees of bend at the knee, wrist can flip inwards. I'm going to try and get through the articulation quickly because I have, you know, 4 more figures to review, plus the combined mode. Waist, if the pterosaur head is plugged in, you don't get any, but if you lift it up a little bit, you do get your waist joint. Hips, forward, back, in, out, thigh, knee, you get over 90 degrees of bend. The feet can, you know, move a little bit, but, you know, I don't know if you're really going to use that. Storage for the prime armor, you can use these tabs on the thumb. They go into these outer tabs on the wings. And you can just store it on his back. Or you can use those tabs. There's these little slots in the head. And, well, it doesn't hold on as securely as the official one did, but, you know. Do that, just kind of close it around the pterosaur head, and you can have that. Of course, you can pop the middle out, give that to him as a gun, shove the Enigma, a Titan Master, or Prime Master in, whatever you want. All of the Prime Armors can do that. I'm not going to show you every one, but still. But yeah, so Swoop is pretty alright. He is pretty decent. I do like him. If I can get his Prime Armor plugged back on. But yeah, so that has been Lord Swoopington, as MGO calls him. And now we are going to continue with the Slug. I'm doing it in this way because I've already owned Slug, Swoop, and Grimlock. Grimlock will be saved for last. Oh my god, I just realized I forgot to do robot comparisons with Swoop. Oh my goodness. You know, let's save robot comparisons for the end when I have them all together. Just because. Yeah. I used to, like I said, I used to own Slug, Swoop, and Grimlock. Grimlock I'll do last because he's the leader, but get the other two that I already owned out of the way. Yeah. He is a nice Triceratops. Got some... I still love the clear plastic and then gold paint in the head and the tail. And right here in the leg. This does slightly concern me, but I mean, you know. But, yeah. As far as articulation, the front legs can do a full 360. This one's a little loose, as you can see. I need to retighten this one. The elbows can bend both ways. The hind legs can rotate a full 360. The hind legs do have a knee. The tail can fold down. The head depends on how you have it transformed. If you have it clipped in, like for robot mode, it really can't do anything. If you have it unclipped, which looks better, you can lift it up. That doesn't really look great, but you know. And the mouth can open, but it does kind of, you know, snap back into place. So, unless you want the mouth open like this, good luck. Comparison-wise, Combiner Wars Limb. I just knocked a Prime Armor and the combined sword off of my table. Where did the sword go? God damn it. Okay, I got it. I'll get to the combined sword later. Anyway. Here he is with an 86 Constructicon Scavenger. As you can see, longer, but he's taller. Here he is with the 86 Prime Mold. Here he is with Legacy Deluxe G1 Universe Optimus, which I still fucking love this figure. This figure is epic. I love it. Anyway. So, yeah. He does come with his gun, which looks nice. He does come with a Prime Armor. As you can see, they actually did change some of the molding, because this one doesn't have the tabs on the side. Neither does Sledge's. It's only Swoops and Snarls that have the tabs on the side, which is interesting. Anyway, you know, storage, you can plug it, you know, the Prime Armor into the hip. I just plug it on top and then just, you know, kind of leave it like that. You can plug the gun into the thumbs. You know, if you want that look going on, you can plug it into the hip as well. So, yeah, there you go. Now, for transformation, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to start by bringing, if you have the head up like this, you're going to want to bring it down and clip it in. You're going to want to come to the tail, disconnect, you know, split it, and then bring it out. Come up here and, you know, untab the legs. and bring them down. You can then split the legs and bring the tail sections back in like this. Do not fold them back down all the way yet, because there's these little heel spurs. Now, you can get these multiple ways. You can, just get your finger in here and just force it out, or you can use the dyno mode leg to rotate it out. And then you can rotate the dyno leg, bring it in. It will just kind of tab in right there. Then you can bring the tail down. I like that. I like that's an easy way to do it. Anyway, once you're done with that, you're going to want to come under here, flip out the hands, and raise the camera again, because he's getting tall. He's getting tall. Even though he has heel spurs, he doesn't always like to stand. And open the dyno mouth and bring it down. And here you have Sludge in, not Sludge, that's Slug. Slug in his robot mode. And I say he looks pretty decent. I've heard people say these pieces should have folded out to give him his wings. It's whatever. But yeah, let's get in close on that head sculpt. That is a nice Sludge head sculpt. It's that, almost gunmetal gray, not black, kind of like the thighs. Like I mentioned that on Swoop, the painted sections that are supposed to be black are gunmetal for some reason. But yeah, he looks good in my opinion. Articulation, the head can rotate. It's a little hard to get to because it's set in the dinosaur head. Ball jointed shoulders, biceps, a little under 9 degrees of bend at the knee. Waist rotation, forward at the hip, back at the hip, out at the hip, only about that far. You have thigh rotation, and under 90 degrees of bend at the knee. So yeah. The prime armor, you can store it on his arm like that. You can, plug it back into here. You can plug it back, here. You can just plug it into his chest. And of course you can do the same, pop this out, shove a Prime Master, Titan Master, Enigma, whatever in there. And then of course he does have his gun, which you can just plug into his hand right there. Plug in, thank you. And yeah, so that is Sludge. Now, on to the 2 deluxe figures I never did actually own, because they just never came out in where I was. We are going to start with Sludge, because I keep accidentally calling Slug Sludge. And also, these figures are very similar because they took a lot of the molding from Slug and just threw Sludge on it. But he's a nice Brontosaurus. I again love the transparent plastic gold paint. Yeah, it looks good. The legs are almost exactly the same as Sludge, but that's fine. Got the pot belly, or the back, the longer neck. It's really small, but like what are you gonna do? Here he is with a Combiner Wars limb. Angle my camera down so you can see. Combiner Wars limb. 86 Scavenger. '86 Prime. Well, 86 Nemesis, but it's another knockoff. One that this feels way better than all of these put together, admittedly. And Deluxe Optimus. So there you go. Now, of course, he does have his own, prime armor. You can plug it into the hip. You can plug it into this port right here. You can plug it. Okay, you can't plug it in under the throat. I usually just plug it, have the thumbs rotated like this. Plug it on right here. He does have his gun. You can hip, You can plug it into the prime armor, other side, other hip. The gun you can just plug in under his throat, which looks weird. I usually just do this. Huzzah. Anyway. Did not mean to split that. Anyway, articulation. This is basically it. Hind legs do rotate, tail does go down. The arms are on ball joints and hinges, but, you know, they're cut out so they, like, rest on this hinge, so, you know, like that. That's how you're supposed to have them. You can rotate the neck, you can open the mouth a tiny bit. If you want to, you know, de-transform them, you got this. Or this, but that just brings out the head. Hi! Yeah. I mean, you know, you can get a little bit of posing if you want to use, you know, the joints. Anyway, I already did articulation. Transformation. The legs are almost exactly the same as slugs. The only difference is you don't have to fold these in, really. Instead, you just kind of fold them back. They're supposed to kind of thoop into place. Like that. You're going to want to bring the arms... Actually, you're going to want to bring them up. Rotate the camera. You're going to want to rotate his waist. Split the dino belly. I mean, you can leave it like this if you want him to have a pot belly, which is funny. But you're supposed to split it, bring the arms down, rotate the bicep, flip out the hand, flip out the hand, rotate, and then you're going to want to bring this down, revealing the head. You're going to want to rotate this head, and the top of the head will just kind of rest right in here on his butt. Make sure this panel's closed, and there you have Sludge in robot mode. And again, he looks good. He looks good. Got a nice sludgy head sculpt. Yeah. He looks good. He looks good. Like I said, the legs are just exactly the same. Aside from this, Sludge has this detail right here. Slug has these. Yeah, of course, you know, prime armor, you can plug it onto the shoulder, onto the forearm, chest, the back, whatever you want to do. I, again, usually just plug it on right here like this, and then I plug the gun in right here. Articulation is exactly the same as slug, so I'm not going to bother. And now we move on to quite possibly my favorite of the set, Snarl. I really like this figure. Is this an accurate Stegosaurus? No, especially with the tail, but if you want to make it more accurate, you can just do that to have the tail lifted up, but that does cause a gap. Whatever, he looks good. Don't pay attention to this. I tried using glue to tighten up his joints. I didn't realize my glue was super liquidy, so it leaked out of right there into here, and ended up gluing the bicep in place on this side. Not on this side. This side still rotates freely, but on this side it's glued in place. I didn't realize there was still some in there when I stuck the sword into his arm, and then it broke off, and I subsequently lost it because I had nowhere to store it. So yeah, I've lost both of the normal swords. But you know, anyway, just getting on that head sculpt. It's a nice little Stegosaurus head. Got some nice, you know, the legs are done in the same style as the head. Some nice detail there. All the plates are nice. All except for these two plates right here are soft rubber, or, you know, softer plastic, including the kind of spikes on the Thagomizer. These two are solid plastic because they have the Titan port, master ports. So yeah. Articulation, the head can just... It can do that. He's the only one of the Dinobots whose mouth doesn't open in Dino mode at all. You can rotate his front legs, rotate his back legs. You got, you know, thigh rotation back there. You can extend the knee. You know, if you want to, you know, having a big steppy. Or if you want him in a walking pose, I guess. But yeah. So, you know, at this point, you know the drill. Combiner Wars limb that is completely hidden by him. 86 Scavenger. '86 Prime. Deluxe Prime. So, yeah. On to transformation. His transformation, just like everyone else, is very simple. You just bring the legs up until they kind of, you know, soft click into place. Bring the head down and split it. And split this entire back section. Unfold the legs. Unfold the legs. You want to make sure this, you know, hinge is completely extended. This piece right here, oh no, it's this piece right here, will tab into that slot right there and lock the knee into place. Then bring the head down like that. Do the same thing on the opposite end, on the opposite side. And you got the legs done. You're going to want to take this you know, shifting joint right here and bring it up. That'll shift the shoulders into place. Straighten the arm and flip out the fist. Flip out the fist, straighten the arm. You're going to want to bring the tail back. And then you're going to want to split it. You want to make sure this side goes down first because it has a tab. It'll go in right there, like this. Just like that. You want to come in here and flip out the head. And his head kept exploding in there when I first got him. So I had to literally glue his head in place, you know, together, so. But here is Sludge in robot mode, and like I said, I think he is my favorite of the set, even without his sword. He looks cool. A nice head there. You know. Some nice detail all over the body. The legs kind of don't have too much of an actual stopping point. So, like, you can just break his leg. I wish they kind of just stopped, like, right here. Instead of, you know, breaking his leg. But, you know, it is what it is. And then, for some reason, his prime armor is the only one with a different colored peg. That's the same on the original, too. I don't know why. But anyway, you can plug it into his shoulder. You can't plug it into his back or anything like that. You can plug it into his chest for the gimmick. You can plug it into his hand, blah, blah, blah. The sword, you could, you know, stick into his, you know, hand as well, blah, 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 you know. Articulation-wise, the head is on a ball joint. You get a little bit of wiggly-waggly, full 360, a little bit up and down. Shoulders are on ball joints, but they do kind of get stopped by the shoulder pat, by, you know, the tail. They can do a full 360, it's just they get stopped. Arms can really only go out that much. Again, because of my fuck-up, this arm doesn't have a bicep, but this one does. 90 degrees of bend at the knee. The wrists can fold inwards. You got a waist forward, that much, back, that much, outward, that much, thigh, knee can break. So yeah. Yeah, I still think Sludge is probably my favorite of the set. Now, let's get on to Grimlock, aka the Problem Child. So, the problems aren't really here in Dino mode, they're mostly in the robot mode. But, you know, I'll touch on those when I get to it. Anyway, he looks decent. His tail is a little fat, but it's Grimlock. The dino head looks really good, though. You know, he has all of his teeth. You know, open his jaw, and you can shove a Titan Master or the Enigma in there. You know. The dino arms are on ball joints. This is the only one that wants to move on mine, more than just out. Like, oh, well, now it's moving and making me a liar. The head doesn't rotate, it just looks up and down.
Me Grimlock say yes.
The tail can, you know, extend if you want to, you know, have him looking more like this, or, you know, like this, I guess. Kind of throws off his balance a little bit, but you know, if that's what you want to do, you can do it. The hips are on soft ratchets. I wish these ratchets were a little stronger. That's mostly like a Mimo thing. You have a hinge, you know, back here, which is super loose. And that's something I will talk about in robot mode. Hinge right here is also pretty loose, but this one I think I can fix just by tightening the screw. Still, you know, like, this is taking, like, no effort whatsoever. But, yeah. Anyway. Here he is with the, only other G1 Grimlock I own, 86 Grimlock. Also the only 86 Dinobot I own. So, you know, that's how they look together. His neck broke. Here he is with, Combiner Wars Limb, because I didn't feel like getting any of the torso unit transformed. So Limb. Scavenger. 86 Prime, or 86 Nemesis, I guess. G1 Prime. Well, Legacy G1 Prime. He does have his Prime armors, which are the combined mode feet. Which I'm just going to go ahead and now put this in here. Like I said, for some reason he came with 2 Enigmas. I don't know why, I just shove them in the feet so they don't have gaping holes. Anyway, you can just plug them into these ports right here. It looks a little silly, but, you know, the Prime Armor storage has always looked silly. Anyway, transformation. I do not want this to be an hour-long video, even though it's probably going to be an hour-long video. I'm going to raise my camera so I can get a good look. Alright, so what I do, starting off, is I just straighten the legs, flip up the tail. I come back here, and I split the chip. Sometimes I need a tool. Come on. Come on. Split. Split. Did you break off the fucking tip of my knife? Damn it. I'll be right back. Okay, I got a split. And then I straighten up the arms, flip the hands out. You want to split the hips and bring them up like this. They tab together like that. You're going to want to split the legs. Just gonna try and angle them. You're going to want to come back here and flip back the dino head. And there you have Grimlock in robot mode. And he looks pretty damn good in robot mode. Like, he looks good. Like, this was our only G1 style Grimlock for a good couple years, till 86. And I think it looks fucking phenomenal. That being said, it's not perfect, but, like, what is perfect? Now, the QC issues, the biggest ones were the hips. The hips, they were so freaking loose going in and out that the combiner would just start to do the splits. I undid the screws, shoved some paper towel in there, and one of them noticed the screw doesn't have a fucking... This entire thigh piece is held on by this bottom screw, not... This top screw doesn't do anything. This, thigh piece, both screws help hold it together. This one, only the bottom one does. Which is stupid. And also, as you saw, just barely touch it, and the shoulders are really weak. This side is actually pretty decent. Oh, never mind. That's pretty decent. And of course, the same issue with the elbow. Like, I'm gonna bring in the Combined Mode Sword, which is just Fall of Cybertron Grimlock's sword. Plug it into his hand, and, lift it up, and it forces his arm to go backwards. Like, even if you have him in a stock straight, it just... And this is not that heavy. Like, it's really not that heavy. But, yeah. Anyway. One thing I do like with this entire set, there are no stickers. All of this is Tampographed. All of this is Tampographed. Unlike the official, where there was all sticker. So I do like that aspect better, but, articulation, the head is on a ball joint. Oh my god, his face came... That was not in the fucking script. I say as if I have a script. Okay. Okay, well, that happened. Well, I guess while I'm here, I might as well show you. There is a little bit of a paint mishap there, so... I guess now that I know the face can just easily slide off, I can go in and paint that. That is the first time that's happened. Anyway, head is ball joint. Head is ball joint. You can look up a little bit, down, a little bit of wiggly waggly. The shoulders can do a full 360. Then go out. If they want to stay out, is, you have bicep rotation, double jointed elbow that, like I said, kind of sucks. You do have waist rotation. You can go forward at the hips. It is kind of ratcheted. You can go back, in and out. The hips are supposed to be on ratchets, but literally the pieces just don't exist on this. Which is part of why I have to put fucking paper towel. Also, there's a lot of play in this ratchet. Anyway, then go out. You have above the knee swivel. You have a nice tight ratchet for the knee. And nothing at the feet. As you can see, this does have the issue that the official one did of just splitting out the torso. Unlike that, this piece is actually very solidly locked in robot mode. Combined mode is a different story, but we'll save that for when we get to it. But yeah, this, all in all, I really do like this set. Anyway, you can plug the prime armors in, and you can hold those up, but you try and put the Combined Mode Sword in his hand, and it just flops. But anyway, so let's bring in the group again for another group shot and for some group comparisons. So yeah. Anyway, I forgot to slide my table back. Anyway, here they are with a Combiner Wars limb. Here they are with 86 Scavenger. And with Deluxe Optimus. The Deluxe Legacy G1 Optimus. Here they are with 86 Prime. As you can see, towers over all of them. I think because these guys are very toyetic and the scale just works better, I prefer putting them with this little guy. And because I love this little guy. Anyway. And here they are with 86 Grimlock. As you can see, 86 Grimlock towers over all of them, including fucking Grimlock. But, you know, that's to be expected, honestly. But, yeah. Anyway, now it's on to the main event. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the official combination first, with the limbs and the placement I prefer. And then I'm going to show you my fan mode, which does incorporate Slash, but she is not in the base combiner, so whoop. Anyway, so for simplicity's sake, I'm going to get Snarl and Sludge back into their dino modes, because they are my preferred legs. Or they're necessary legs for the fan mode, because these two have an issue that I will get into when I do that. But anyway, so I'm going to get these two into dino mode. Alright, now that we have Sludge and the Slug, not Sludge, what the fuck. Slug and Snarl in dino modes. Because, you know, traditional Power of the Primes, Combiner Wars, the arms are easier to get to from robot mode, while the legs are easier to get to from dino mode, or from alt mode. Anyway, we are going to start with Slug. I want to take off the Prime Armor and the gun. You can use these to fill out Volcanicus's torso in combined mode, but with my, well, you know, fan mode, you don't really need to, so instead you can always just plug them in right here to give Volcanicus extra heal support. He doesn't need it, but it is nice. Anyway, so transformation, you're going to want to bring this back and down like this. You're going to want to bring the tail up, bend the knees. They will, you know, kind of tab into the same place they do for robot mode. You're going to want to rotate the arms, and there's this little tab that goes, or tab slot. Doesn't really work too well, honestly, but hey, they, you know, keep together well enough. Anyway, 5mm peg, 5mm hole, you know the deal. I peg the gun on right here. Of course, get the combiner joint out. And there you go, one leg is done. Second side, very similar. Of course, do the same thing with the Prime Armor. You know, again, you can plug this into into Volcanicus's torso, but I don't care. Now, I always bring the legs up like this because you're going to want to come down here, and this tab right here will go into the slot in the elbow. Now, it kind of hinders where you would put the, you know, leg in robot mode, so I just bring it back and then just kind of rest it right here. You're then going to want to flip the dino head up. Of course, bring the tail back, flip around the combiner joint. Do the same thing on the side, plug the foot in like this, and there you go. Now for the arms. We are going to start with sweep. Sweep. You're going to want to tab the feet together. Take the Prime Armor, flip out the fingers, which I almost always need a tool for, but as you can see, it kind of, you know, messed up my nail a little bit. Bring that out, bring this up. You can fold it in so that way you have two thumbs like this, or you can fold the other thumb onto right here, and that kind of cleans it up a little bit. You're going to want to come here, fold or bend his elbows 90 degrees. Fold them in, or fold the fists in. There's a tab right here, it'll go into that slot right there. You're going to want to bring the pterosaur head up. Rotate for whatever arm you like the side of. Bring the combiner joint up. And technically you're supposed to leave the bird head like this, but I always bring it... Duh! I ripped his head off. Bring it down on this hinge, which is for leg mode transformation, but, you know. I usually do it for that, so it can, you know, give you a bit more arm movement without being impeded, but you still get to see it. Anyway, shift the wings down, spread them a little bit so you can fold them up against the arms. They will tab in right there, like that. Bring that down. Plug the hand in, and there we have Swoop. For Sludge, you're going to want to do the same thing with the combined mode hand. You know, bring the fingers out, rotate, rotate, done. You want to take the gun out, you want to open this panel up, and bring it up over the head, close that back up, scratch your nose, bring his arms up so you can then bring the dino back together. Fold in the fists. You're going to want to rotate the arms back the way they were for dino mode. And then you're going to want to bend them back like this. There's a little, you know, weird shaped tab thing that'll go into this weird shaped hole right here. Like that. And that'll lock the arms into place. Well, lock. You want to peg the legs together. Bring the dino mode legs back a little bit. You can leave the tail split like this, but I usually just bring it back up and tap it in like this. Even though that does kind of make a bit of a gap, but whatever. Rotate the waist. Bring the head down. Bring the combined mode thing up. You can plug the gun on, like, right here. You can plug it into the hip. You can plug it into his throat. What I usually do, actually, is I flip this hand out and then just plug it into his hand and flip it back like this. Like that's just what I do. And then plug the hand in, you have another arm, all done. Now for Grimlock. What you're gonna wanna do, bring the dino mode head up and tap it in. You're going to want to bring the shoulders up. There's a tab right there that'll go into a nice little slot right there. That'll kind of lock the arm into place, or it's supposed to. Rotate the arm, bring it down like this. This tab right here will tab into that slot right there. You can leave the fist out for a little bit more support. Which, with as loose as his shoulders can get, you kind of have to. You're going to want to come down here, bring this tab right here, tab that in, that'll supposedly solidly lock everything into place. You're going to want to untab this, bring it down, these clips will go over these slots right here. Bring down the combined mode crotch, rotate it. You want to bring the legs out a little bit, rotate, and then bend the knees so that way they're straight, like this. Remember, this is the stock configuration. This is not the, you know, fan mode yet. And you want to come in here, flip this up, flip up that, bring this down, it'll tab into the head, bring this down, it'll just kind of interlock right there. And you have the official torso all done. Now you can just, you know, kind of plug them on. Of course, it's the combiner word system, so it's very easy. Sometimes I have to do that when I'm getting sludge or snarl on. We are going to raise the camera because he's getting tall. Of course, do the same. Swoop always has an issue going on for some reason. Anyway. Bring his hips up a little bit. And, yeah, this, in its stock configuration, doesn't really work. Like, it does kinda, but his arms are just way, way too far out. it just does not look good. His arms are far too out, his shoulders are too low and out. It looks fine, but it is also the most gangly of every fucking combiner they've made. Like, even Orthia didn't look this fucking weird. Orthia looked more, you know, big and bulky than fucking Volcanicus. But, yeah, that's what it looks like. Of course, in this set, you get Fall Cybertron Grimlock's sword. So you can just, you know, kind of close one of the hands up. Not all the way like that, jeez. And just, you know, kind of slide it in. Like that. And, you know, it is what it is. Articulation. The head can rotate. The shoulders can do a full 360. They can go out. You do have bicep rotations and double jointed elbows. Oh my gosh, his arm's coming undone. And he's losing balance. Oh my god. The wrists can rotate. The fingers can close. Thumbs on ball joint, you know. The hips. The hips. Oh boy. They can go out, but they feel like they are way too far up. They can also go back. Again, they feel like they're way too far up. Outwards, you know, got thigh rotation, above the knee rotation, 90 degrees of bend at the knee, foot swivel, and ankle tilt. So, yeah, that is the official way to combine Volcanicus. Like I said, it doesn't look great. So, we are going to break him back down so I can show you how I transform him. So, before I get, you know, Grimlock into his fan torso mode, I did say this, version of the combination includes Slash. So, let's just move the limbs out of the way so I can have a little bit of space to work. Let's get her into her combined mode. So, what you want to do is you want to basically move her arms, finagle them so she's kind of out in a bear hug. Rotate her biceps so that way her hands are facing upwards. Bring her hips out, rotate them halfway like this, bring them out, and then bring the foot. Don't pop the foot off, jeez, what is going on with you? Dinobots, what is going on with you? Anyway. Do the same thing on this side. And then you're going to want to bring the tail up like this. Just to kind of cover her head and combine. You basically want her to be in like a koala hug position. Now, Grimlock. Bringing my camera stand box back in. So, yeah, this is the official torso. Let's change it. Rotate his legs like this. Bring them down. You know, kind of like you would if you owned the Perfect Effect upgrade kit. And that alone already looks better. But let's make it even better. So you're going to untab the arms, or untab these, bring them up. Come in here, flip the... Hi, Phoenix. Sorry, I have a puppy right next to me. Flip the hands in. Bring the arms up 2 clicks and just kind of position them a little bit so they're as straight as possible. Do the same thing on the other side. Like I said, this piece tabs in perfectly for robot mode, but not combined mode. And you also might want to bring them in just a little bit, just to make things slightly easier. And now, you want to come to the back, bring in Slash. These little 5mm posts that the combined feet plug into, you want her holding these. Just like so. And then you want to spin to the front and bring her legs in like this, kind of cupping that. And bring the feet down, and that kind of just, you know, bulks this midsection out a little bit. Now, The main reason I have Snarl and Sludge as legs is because they are the only ones whose, kibble can get out of the way of the tails. For Swoop, if you bring his head all the way down and do that and try to slide it in, as you can see, that bumps in. And he doesn't have enough, space to move his head down even further. Just like with Sludge. So, because of this fan mode, they kind of have to be locked into being arms. But, that's fine. Anyway. Make sure everything's kind of in position. And I assume it's probably because knockoff, but Slash really does not hold on super securely. Like, I have to keep making sure she's holding. That might just be because it's a knockoff and things aren't sized properly, but still. Anyway, so for Slug, you want to fold the head back like this, and then you can slide him on like this, and that just barely leaves you enough room so you can get the legs straight. Snarl, you're going to want to do... oh wait, I forgot, I need to... Because Snarl's combined peg is a little finicky. You're gonna want to split the tail, and then plug him on if you will want to, and bring him up and bring that back a little bit like that. Raise the camera, and doesn't that already look better? Swoop, you're just going to want to, do the same thing with putting him on. That being said, I've noticed his does not like to go on right, and if you can see, there's a stress mark, because it usually pushes this section out. Oh, that is an actual fracture. Not just a stress mark, that's an actual fracture. Anyway, also, try and hold on to Slash so she can, actually not fall off. That being said, putting Swoop on is the hardest part of this whole thing because of that broken fucking section on the arms. Anyway, you're also going to, want to bend him down one click so that way he's straight. Well, I mean, I don't know if he's straight or not, but you know what I mean. So the arm is straight. Anyway. You're going to want to do the same thing with Sludge. And he goes on much easier. And there you go. That is my fan mode for Power of the Primes Volcanicus that includes Slash and fixes some of the combined mode proportions. And just makes it look better, in my opinion. But yeah. It looks good, especially like this. Now, for comparison, here he is with 86 Prime. As you can see, Prime is only like, crotch height. Because, combiners are big. Here he is with the Deluxe Optimus, which you can't even see. Like, yeah, I think that scale works a bit better. And, like I said, I just really like the way that Optimus looks. Here he is with 86 Grimlock. And, I know the 86 Dinobots are better in, every way, aside from the fact they can't combine. But the combining aspect is what makes me really like the set, and is what made me want it over the 86 ones. That and the fact that this was affordable. This set was only $54. Meanwhile, just Grimlock alone was $54. And, the other 86 Dinobots are fucking going like hell on the aftermarket. So it's like, you know, this set, it really isn't that bad. Plus you get a combiner, which is cool. Here it is with a combiner, Wars combiner with a, you know, Power of the Prime combiner feet. This is my custom Splendid Convoy made from a conversion kit made by Mav Doodles. I just wanted to show it off. I'm not going to do a review on it because I don't really usually review custom figures. But yeah. And, of course, here is the Dinobots with their rivals from the G1 cartoon. Devastator! Now, obviously, Devastator is bigger. Devastator is a full 6-member combiner. This was made to be a 5-member combiner. So, obviously, he's going to be bigger. Yeah, I can fudge a 6th member into it, but she's not, like, making the entire shoulders like Longhaul does, or like Hook does. But, yeah. Anyway. So that's that. Yeah, no, I really do like this set. One thing I forgot to mention is that, with the legs like this, the robot mode knee becomes his outward hip joint. Or his forward hip joint, but the, robot hip joint is still the outward. Unless you want to rotate it and stuff like that. But still, yeah, I really enjoy this combiner, even with all the faults, mostly with Grimlock. I still think this, you know, figure is a treat. Yeah, the Dinobots were never really made to combine, but they also feel like they should have combined. They were the only 5-bot team that didn't. So it kind of felt a little out of place. That being said, I really like this figure. I think I've already said it. I am going to try and get an official Grimlock so I can replace this one. That being said, if I do that, I might swap out the shins, because I do like those details being tampographed rather than stickered. If I could swap out these, I would, too, because again, I like tampographed details more than stickers. But that's besides the point. Yeah. If you want this figure for yourself, if you want the official, you can check eBay, Mercari, wherever. If you're okay having a knockoff, AliExpress. I'm sure Wish has some. I got mine off AliExpress. And like I said, it was like 50 bucks. But yeah. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed. Leave a like, comment down below, subscribe. Let me get maybe a little bit more of a downward angle on it. Yeah. Leave a like, comment down below, subscribe, and I will see you all next time. Peace.